Learning Ullilevi Omar. The Rebbe Zt Shoftim Toshin Samar Daled 5764. On the night of Shabbos, he said on the post, that which I command you shall do. Do not stray from that which the Rabbanon will tell you, right or left. And there's an explanation that's brought that that you should not stray, right or left, is when you take the word of tzav, the mitzvah. The word of mitzvah in the middle is tzav. That you shouldn't take the letters mem hey, which are to the right and left of mitzvah. And tzav means commanded, and mitzvah is to be commanded. And mem hey is to tell you that you should be humble. As it says, Moshe Rabbeinu said to the Klal Yisrael, when they requested from him things that he couldn't give them, he said, "V'nachnu mo." We are not, meaning N-A-U-G-H-T, that we are, Moshe and Aaron are nothing. It's the Rabbeinu Shalom who gives everything. That you have to be careful not to become haughty and think you know everything. And there's another way to explain it, that the idea is that you take memhei mitzvah is because what's left is tzav. When you take off the memhei, the commandment is left. That a person always has to be in a commandment of being commanded, in a level of being commanded, and to go in a way which is correct, and always to feel and exude the commandment of Hashem. However, if a person is acting as a humble person, more so than is necessary, and others will not be commanded to do. He has to be able to stand up to show that this is the way the Torah wants. That another is good. Humbleness is good. But there's a time when a person has to think that he is worthy of being able to accomplish and influence others with his deeds, and he said he should not say, "Who am I that I should tell others?" But rather, he has to have, at that point, humbleness doesn't take place. That's not a place for humbleness. It's not a time for him to be humble. And you have to be active. That's why it says, "Leisosu," that do not make the midah, the attribute of more humbleness, separate from tzav. That you shouldn't be humble more than is necessary. We'll turn the page. And thereby not do that which you're supposed to do. But rather, the two midas are together. The more has to be together with the commanding. Your presence should command others. Rashi says that if the Chacham even tell you that right is left and left is right, and we have to understand how would a judge say that right is left and left is right? What does it mean? So the Rebbe Zt explains that in general, the power of a person is with his right hand. Already, his right hand is stronger, his right foot is stronger, and the left is weaker. However, it's different. One thing, the left is stronger than the right, and that's in the heart, where we find the heart is on the left side of a person. All the other important limbs are to the right. Now, when a person has to use all of his assets, all of his strength, he has to use the right and the left. And he should utilize them for good. Now, their people are different. There are those that have more knowledge, more intelligence, a higher IQ, and that's the concept of the right. There are those of them who are more emotional, where the heart is more in control. That's the left. And therefore, in the life of a person, that as much as a person gets older, he becomes more intelligent, as Chazal tell us, that Talmidei Chacham, the older they get, instead of becoming more feeble-minded, they become stronger, and that's where old age increases the extent of a person's knowledge, and that's from the right, from the koyach, or from the right. However, young people are more emotional, more hot-headed, and therefore the heart plays a greater part, and they have the strength to do deeds much more so than older people. Whereas an older person, he doesn't have that feeling, and he doesn't have the strength to do it either. However, you have to use both attributes, that of the mind and that of the physical. And according to this, we can explain what Yaakov Avinu said, that he sent his right hand and he put it on Rosh Ephraim. When Yosef brought his children, Ephraim and Manasseh, before Yaakov Avinu switched the hands. Facing him was Manasseh, which Yosef placed to the right of Yaakov to Yosef's left, and vice versa. He placed Ephraim so that the hands of Yaakov, the right hand would go on the older son, who was Menashe. But Yaakov Avinu changed his hands because Menashe is the Bechor. What does that mean? That since Ephraim was younger, he put on the head of Ephraim, and he has more of the heart. The heart is stronger on the left side, and therefore he put his right hand on him to strengthen him for what he needed to his right, for the mental. And therefore he had the ability of not only regesh, emotion, but he also had the strength to be able to utilize the heart. Menashe, he put his left hand. Since he was older, he had more responsibilities. As we find, he was in charge of the household of Yosef. Therefore, he has more of a need of having the emotion. Therefore, Yaakov Avinu gave him, by reversing the hand, putting his left hand on Menashe, the ability to also have the feeling that comes, in a sense, before adulthood, that you can utilize your entire physical goof and use it to serve Hashem. He wanted, Yaakov Avinu, the Rebbe Zt says, wanted both of them should have both attributes, the heart and the mind. Not only Ephraim, but Menashe as well. And thus we can explain the words of Rashi. Even if the shofet will tell you that right is left, meaning that the shofet will want that the person should use his two abilities, and even a person who has the intellect has to work with his heart. And he tells the person, you have the right, which is the intellect, but you also have to have the heart, the regesh. And even if he tells you, if you have the regesh, you also have to use your intellect, you should do so. Everyone has to utilize both to serve Hashem, because the right goes together with the left, and the left goes together with the right. At times, many people come, they say, but this is the way I feel about it, or this is the way I think about it. In both instances, one has to override it with the other power that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given him. May we be able to do that, especially on Rosh Chodesh Elul, and in the month of Elul, to be able to serve Hashem both with all of our facilities and all of our strength. B'zeichot yaksiva v'chasima toiva.